Goosebumps the movie, based on the book series of the same name. A group of teenagers team up with author R.L. Stine to battle monsters, demons, and one creepy-ass clown, who are unleashed onto a small town to wreak havoc. And did I mention that there's gnomes in this movie? Yeah, just touching it makes me feel nasty. Okay, where'd it go? If I don't find it, it's going to kill me in my sleep. Hey there guys, how are you? Now let's talk about Goosebumps, the movie. Now when I was 10 or 11, I read half of one of the Goosebumps books on a road trip to my grandmother's house, and the reason I only read half of it, well, I had a new Sega Game Gear at the time and I was just more into that. Now as a kid, I do remember loving the TV show of Goosebumps because every time I came across it, I was glued to it after school. That TV show and Are You Afraid of the Dark on Nickelodeon. Like whatever happened to that? The movie stars Jack Black as R.L. Stine, who's a kooky author who's also the next door neighbor to the film's main character, Zach, who's the new kid in town. And when it comes to Jack Black as R.L. Stine in this movie, well, in every movie starring Jack Black, you get Jack Black. Now, I wouldn't say his acting range is very broad, but for the character that he plays in this movie, I thought it worked well because he's a kooky recluse type character. He's a little bit zany and weird at times, and I really bought into him. So Jack Black playing that role, I was like, yeah, that works. Now, I'll be honest with you, judging by the trailers for Goosebumps, the movie, I really wasn't anticipating it. I wasn't really excited, and I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to go see that movie. And then one thing led to another, and I found myself at the movie theater buying tickets for Goosebumps the movie. And you know what? I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. Because once again, going into it and judging it by the trailers, I was like, that looks a little too childish with a lot of B-rate CG. But with all that said, within the first 30 minutes of the movie, I was sitting there watching it, and I was like, yeah, I'm having a good time. It's a little bit lighthearted, but it's fun. The pacing is good. I mean, yeah, sure, there's some typical plot points along the way. New kid moves into town. Hot girl who lives next door just so happens to have a crazy, weird recluse for a father who also has manuscripts to the Goosebumps books. And when you open those manuscripts, crazy, weird shit flies out of them. Overall, this movie has a really fun vibe. It's definitely worthy of an October Halloween release, and it's one of those movies that I think everyone in the family can enjoy. So here are my final flicking thoughts on Goosebumps, the movie. Like I said, overall, this is a fun, entertaining movie where the pace keeps moving and the characters keep going to different locations and places. On a side note, the best friend character in this movie was a little bit weird and strange at times, but he's one of those best friend characters who's also a coward and a wimp, but I kind of liked him. Like, I want a best friend like that for some odd reason. I don't know where I was going with that, I just felt like I had to say it. I will say I enjoyed the first 2/3 of the movie more than the ending to the movie, because during the ending climax, it's pretty much throwing everything it possibly can at you as fan service, and a lot of things get lost in the mix. It's just like, here's a zombie, here's a clown, here's a thing, here's another thing, here's a giant bug. And it's almost like they were trying to cram too many characters from the books into the movie just to say, yeah, that character was in there. And speaking of the monsters in the movie, I will say my favorite monster type character in the film was the werewolf character, and I really enjoyed the grocery store scene. It was probably the most fun, and just, I don't know, I want to be a werewolf. For some odd reason, that's what I want to be. Woo! And my biggest complaint with Goosebumps the movie is the CG in the movie. It's atrocious to say the least, and it's very B-rate, and it's almost intentional at times because I think if they made it too realistic, it would almost be too scary for younger viewers. So maybe they try to make it look cartoony to lighten things up and make it less frightening for younger viewers, or they just got lazy and decided to save some money and make it look kind of shitty. But with that said, the mediocre CG for this movie isn't a deal breaker. It's still a fun movie. It's fast-paced, and it's one of those movies I think everyone in the family will enjoy. So I'm going to give Goosebumps the movie a B-. It's surprisingly better than I expected. Alright guys, that's my review for Goosebumps the movie. Now here's my question to you, and let me know down below, what you guys think about the movie? Or if you guys were stuck in a small town where demons and monsters were unleashed, what would you least want to encounter? Mine would be clowns. Scary clowns, man, I can't deal with that. Give me zombies, giant bugs, I don't care. Clowns, no way. And by the way, if you haven't already, please make sure you check out my last movie review for The Walk. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and I'll see you next time.